And here we are with another episode of the Bottom Shelf Project, where we do things so you don't have to, sampling the most suspect and inexpensive of liquors out there. Quick review of our project guidelines. We're looking at distilled liquors only, $19.99 or less for a full 750 milliliter bottle. As always, is your host, Cary, my good friend John. Today, our offering is Shieldaig single malt Scotch whiskey, which really surprised me because typically single malts easily become some of the priciest stuff you can find in a bottle. I've seen some single malts in the UK go for several $1,000s.
Right.
Granted, these things are probably 20, 30, even up to 50 years of age spent in the barrel.
And typically, if you're looking at, like a base model of Ardbeg or Lefroy, you're in the $50, $60, $70 range. And,
Quickly.
The prices can vary because of tax and things like that. But you're not going to find, like, Ardbeg 10 for under $20. You're just not going to find it.
So this one was picked up at Total Wine for, I believe it was about $14.
Yeah.
$14 is at our local Total Wine. A little research showed that Shieldaig is bottled in Scotland, but it is one of Total Wine's house brands.
Right.
So they're a bargain offering. I do have a particular weakness for Islay whiskeys.
Yeah.
We both do. It's
love them.
Easily our favorite type of Scotch.
Yep.
The only caveat on this bottle, it is an Islay. It is a proper Scotch, but there is no age statement.
Right.
So we have no idea how long this is spent in the barrel, and it could very well be I think if it were a single malt blend, it would have to note that it was a single malt blend. So this does look like
it's not a blend. It says it's a single malt.
It's a true single malt, and the bottle has a little bit of marketing.
Yeah, the copy on it is actually, they got somebody to write some good copy on this. It really makes you want to drink it. I'm not going to lie there.
It's a step above senior and high school creative writing project stuff.
Exactly.
They did a decent job on it. We won't bore you with it.
What we're hoping is that the purchasing power of Total Wine, since it's Total Wine brand, allows them to get a really nice quality product but keep the price relatively low and very accessible. So fingers crossed, this is going to be a nice sipping wine, kind of a poor man's Ardbeg or a poor man's Lefroy, something in that category. Is what that's our highest hope. But we'll see. That's what we're here for.
So we'll give this virgin bottle an opening.
Is that a cork?
That is a cork and
under $20 and
a metal seal.
Ooh.
So we'll just go straight to the Glencairn. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Even without even getting it in my face. This is definitely an Islay. So
it's a light color, This is looking good.
It's looking good so far. Give it a quick nosing.
Oh yeah.
It's a young whiskey. I can tell you that much. It's a young whiskey. Heavy wood notes.
Very peaty though. Lots of smoke.
Brine really stands out too.
Mm-hmm.
Peaty, smoky. But the wood and the brine, the first thing that really stands out. Making my mouth water.
I'm saying.
That's an enticing bouquet.
Yeah. We might be in for a treat here today.
God, I hope so, because we've had some losers.
We have. Like, if this is good, we earned this.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly complex nose. There's a lot going on here. The brininess is well out in front.
Yeah.
The smoke that you would expect from an Islay. This is not what I would expect from a $14 bottle of whiskey, much less a Scotch.
Usually my favorite kind of smoky, peaty, cheap, and this bottle of whiskey has a lot of fans, actually, is Teacher's. But Teacher's is a blend. I believe one of the whiskeys that they blend in Teacher is Ardbeg. I could be wrong about that, but I remember somebody telling me that one of the whiskeys they blend in Teacher's is one of the better Islay whiskeys. But a lot of people have a really strong preference for Teacher's. When I lived in Japan, I could get a 750 milliliter bottle of Teacher's for $9. It was awesome. I loved it. Now here, it's usually in the about the same price range as this, $14, $15, $16, somewhere around there. They changed the profile on it a few years ago, so people who are really familiar with teachers a long time ago kind of whine, it's not as good as it used to be. I wouldn't know. I never had that flavor profile, but the one that I've had recently is still good. And already the nose on this is better than teachers by far.
So this is perfect dram for the weather we're having outside right now. It's a typical rainy, dreary, a bit
Scottish.
chilly. Yeah, for Florida.
Yeah,
for,
really.
for us, it's probably 60 degrees outside, so the rest of the nation is likely cursing us. But for us, it was a little damp and dreary and chilly.
Yeah, I almost
And
broke
this-
out my parka.
This is perfect for it. So
Sláinte, let's do it.
again, it's a young whiskey.
It's young. It's not as complex as like an Ardbeg or anything like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, the pepperiness is it lingers.
Yep.
And that brine comes out on the aftertaste too. It's
It
not there
does.
on the initial tasting, but that brine really jumps out.
Now we in doing some research for this, we found like a little promo video on YouTube because I was just trying to make sure we pronounced the name right, Shieldaig, and I didn't want us to get a whole bunch of it's Shieldaig or whatever, So we looked it up. They said it tended to have kind of an oily texture. It's mildly oily. I mean, it's got some legs, but overall.
Flavor profile hang around as long as it does. I still got some of it on my tongue. Yeah, it supports that claim that it's a bit oily.
I'm having a
it's-
feeling if we drop a little water in this, it'll be
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Mm-mm.
I am very pleasantly surprised. Is it something I would want all the time? No. But I don't want an Isla whiskey all the time, period, regardless of the price or quality. But I will say that right now, I'm pleasantly surprised at that price point. This is a fine Scotch.
This is really pretty good.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable. I can think of some other like bottom shelf stuff I've hit in this price point range that I didn't enjoy as much as this. I think we should do a little water, and don't we have a little bit of teachers left? We might want to pour a little teachers and do a little comparison.
Yeah,
to
we
it,
do.
so.
We do. Again, some of the tasting notes. Initial taste, the first thing that hits the tongue is some sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
That first sip is sweet, kind of light for a split second.
Yeah.
And then as it settles back over the back of the tongue, it turns peppery, woody, the smoky kicks in.
Yeah.
And then after you let it pass down, then the brine comes out, the woodiness really becomes prominent.
Well, that pepper really lingers there for a while.
It does. And it's a welcome pepperiness.
Which, by the way, that's
It's
one
not
thing I
harsh.
like. I know everybody has their personal like flavor profiles that they enjoy. I love peppery. That's why I like rye. Rye can be very peppery, and I like that. I like spicy food. I like food that leaves a burn and stays there for a while. I really like an experience. I like stuff that reaches out and punches me in the face. I like my coffee black. I like IPAs. Like, that's my thing. I like really bold flavors. Richard's not with us today because Isla's are kind of not his thing. He's not really into smoky stuff. He likes a little bit more sweet and peppery profiles.
He's more of an Irish whiskey bourbon guy.
Yeah. Which, hey, nothing wrong with that. I love Irish whiskeys, buddy. But this is great.
Slightly on the outer edge. We just overlap a little bit in our Venn diagram of tasting notes because I don't care that much for some of the really harsh flavors. I don't drink much in the way of IPAs, but I do like spicy food. And I will say that the pepperiness of this, while it is definitely a young whiskey, I can taste the fact that this is not, there's a reason why this is not age stated.
Yeah.
It's still not harsh.
Mm-mm.
It's not overpowering.
Nope.
It is a nice, welcome flavor, and I'm really enjoying this.
No, I had a young whiskey, and I wish I could remember the name. I'd have to go look in some of my old photographs. It was from New Zealand, and it was a gold medal winner at a tasting contest, and that stuff wrecked me. A friend of mine from Japan could tell a story, like, oof, man. But this is, I don't have any problems with this at all.
I would love to know where this is sourced from and find out what the actual age is. I mean, I could be completely full of it. This could be like an 8-10-year-old Scotch, and they just don't want to advertise it, although I would be surprised if they wouldn't. So now that we've gotten the initial neat tasting out of the way, we're going to see about improving the dram. So we're taking this one a little bit more seriously in our efforts to improve the dram. We put just a couple of drops of water in there to knock some of the elements out and bring them to the top of the dram and make them more noticeable to see if it opens it up, improves anything.
I don't notice a big change on the nose.
The nose is actually more subtle now. I thought it would be stronger, but it's not. I'm losing a lot of the smoke. Now I smell primarily sweetness.
Yeah.
Almost like a...
Still smells so.
What is that?
I don't know, but it's light and it's back there and it's really good. I have to say I like the nose on this.
It's a weird combination of brine and Walker's shortbread biscuit to me. It's a really weird combination.
See, I'm not familiar with because you went to England and all that
a couple
for a while,
times.
and
Yeah,
I never went there with that. So
let's see what this tastes like.
let's do it. The more the sweetness comes out on that.
Wow, does it ever? That is a lot sweeter now.
A lot sweeter. Wow.
It blunts the smoke quite a bit. The brine is still there, but not until after you taste it.
It's not as peppery as it was.
No, not as peppery. Man, that flipped a switch on this. Now, it's still very good. I think I prefer it neat.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'd rather not put the water in there. I'd rather keep it neat. It's still enjoyable, but it just kind of smooths it out a little bit. So a lot of times people, big fans of Islay whiskeys like us, people like, I think Islay whiskeys are too harsh, and how do I smooth into Islay whiskeys? This, with a few drops of water in it, might be one of those things because you can pick it up at a nice price point. It's not that expensive. It's not that harsh. It's very friendly, and just a few drops of water kind of tones it down. So.
Now, make no mistake, even though, if you can't figure out already, we're giving this a hearty endorsement. This may be a good gateway into a smoky Scotch. It is still prominently smoky. It is still something that if you've never had any kind of smoky, peaty Scotch or whiskey before, it's going to be something you may have to develop your palate for.
It's not a Laphroaig. It's not an Ardbeg even. It's trying it. It's like Ardbeg light.
Think of it that way. It's briny without being medicinal. Because Ardbeg is beyond briny to where it's got an iodine flavor to it.
And Laphroaig's got the same thing.
Yeah, and Laphroaig's the same way. So
God, I love
they're
Laphroaig.
not as powerful. It's not as powerful that I would suggest this as a gateway to a truly smoky, peaty Scotch, Islay Scotch, because of its price point. And it does have a considerable amount of sweetness there that others may not have.
I do like it. Still has a nice peppery back end as well too. Honestly, for the price point, I mean, it's you're going to be tough to beat that. In the under $20 category for Islay whiskeys. It's really, really friendly. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with this. Not amazing. This would be your single malt background whiskey. This I want an Islay. My Laphroaig's getting low. I want to save that for a special occasion, but I want a nice dram. Bang! There you go.
On a budget, looking for a good Islay, you want a nice, smoky, full-bodied whiskey. You can't go wrong with this.
Yeah, if anybody's got a better suggestion than these two, I'm all ears. If you can tell me a better single malt Islay whiskey under $20 than that, let me know.
And now, just to kick it up another notch, we're going to try to improve this just a tiny bit more with my new favorite go-to cocktail, the Godfather.
The Godfather.
So now we're on our last leg of our Shieldaig journey with our Godfather, which again is one of my new go-to cocktails, partially because it's really tasty and partially because it's so damn simple. 2-part whiskey, whichever you prefer, and 1 part amaretto. Very sweet, kind of nutty, harmonizes surprisingly well with a woody, smoky whiskey.
Yeah, it really does a good job.
I introduced John just recently to the joys that is the Godfather. Because it's got the amaretto and the sweetness in it, works really well over ice. We're going to drink this one neat, but...
Yeah. Yeah, that's just...
Damned if that is not a fine drink.
That's your friend right there. That is an offer you cannot refuse right there.
It takes the smokiness and the pepperiness down just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Makes it a little bit more comforting.
Yeah, and then that
Takes
hazelnut comes in there and
yeah,
just
takes
warms
the
it up.
Yeah, the sweetness is up just a little bit more, so it's more on
Yeah,
the middle of the
it's
tongue rather than the initial front.
perfect for a day like today. But I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
you could put this on the rocks on a sunny day. This on the rocks, sure.
And again, both of our offerings meet our criteria. The Shieldaig, well within our price point.
Well.
The hazelnut liqueur / amaretto that I'm using, I believe that was $12 at Total Wine.
This is great. If you want a nice, I don't want to use the word budget because that budget has such a negative connotation.
It's not cheap. It's inexpensive.
Yeah, it's inexpensive, but under $20, single malt, Isla whiskey, very smoky, very friendly.
As we were talking off camera, I really do think that if you put this in a blind taste test on a flight with some of the more expensive Islas, you may have a hard time picking this out. Maybe it might stand out because it's less refined. At least to my palate, it tastes like a younger whiskey. I think that it is, but I don't know that for certain. Unless it's something that's really spent a lot of time in a barrel to mellow it out. I think that'll go toe-to-toe with any of the $40, $50 whiskeys that I've had from Scotland.
Serious. It's your friend. Try it out.
It's
Good stuff.
It's well worth your time.
Finally.
So there you have it. Words of wisdom from the bottom shelf.
Cheers.
Enjoy.